the city lights. Radio plays soft and low, and I still can't let you go. High heels echo down the street, lonely rhythm, broken beat, midnight wind against my face. Still searching for your embrace. Every cafe closing down, empty shadows all around. Your reflection in the glass feels like memories from the past. Maybe I should say goodbye, but your ghost still fills my nights. Every little light I see still brings you back to me. Neon rain tonight, washing over all my lonely nights. Every dream I try to lose still leads me back to you. Soft blue city glow like a love I still don't know. Even when the stars fade away, I still hear your name. Taxi lights and smoky bars, old love songs beneath the stars, people dancing, moving on, while my heart still holds you close. I still wear your favorite scent, like the nights we almost met. Somewhere in this endless blue, I still belong to you. If you walk these streets tonight, maybe we could cross this life. Just one look beneath the rain could bring us back again. Neon rain tonight, falling softly through my mind. Every road and every sign still reminds me you are mine. Even when the dawn appears, you still live inside my tears. Every lonely midnight gloom still belongs to you. Neon fading with the dawn, but I'm still holding on. Somewhere underneath this rain, I still whisper your name. There's a diner open past midnight at the corner of 5th and Main. The same pale yellow light still still flickers, like it's waiting for someone who never came. I stopped there tonight out of habit, sat alone beside the rain, street glass. The waitress looked at me with tired eyes, like she's seen heartbreak too many times. Your favorite song came softly through the speakers, low enough to almost miss. And suddenly the empty seat across from me felt heavier than it should. Strange the places grief chooses to live, not in grand moments, but in ordinary rooms where loved ones quietly existed. And the light above the diner still burns into the dark, like a small promise refusing to give up on somebody. I watch strangers come and go tonight while memories stay behind, like your hand still resting gently on the edge of mine. A man outside was smoking slowly under the buzzing neon sign. And for a second I envied him, because loneliness looks simpler on someone else. The coffee tasted burnt and bitter, but I drank it anyway. Some nights you don't come somewhere to heal, you come because the pain knows the address. If you walk through that door tonight, train passed by at 2:17, shaking the glasses in the cabinet. I woke up reaching for someone who hasn't slept beside me in years. The sheets were cold on your side again. Moonlight stretched across the floor. I lay there listening to the city breathe, like an animal outside the door. There's a tiredness that comes with missing someone. Not dramatic, not loud, just a slow wake living quietly inside ordinary hours. I used to think healing meant finally not thinking of you, but maybe it's this instead. Remembering without falling apart. And the train at 2:17 tonight sounded exactly like goodbye. Long, distant, still echoing after it disappeared. I closed my eyes and for a moment I was 29 again, waiting at the station, watching you leave through winter fog. I passed the record store last weekend, the one where we spent entire afternoons arguing over singers neither of us really understood, just because we liked hearing each other talk. The owner painted the windows black now. There's a pharmacy inside instead. Funny how cities survive heartbreak by replacing everything. If I saw you today, I think I'd notice your hands first. The small familiar movements time probably couldn't erase. And I'd wanna ask, did we waste our love? Or is loving someone deeply never really a waste at all? The train at 2:17 keeps running somewhere beyond this sleeping town, carrying strangers toward each other while I sit here with the past. But tonight the loneliness feels softer, less like punishment, more like an old photograph fading gently at the edges. Another train hums through the darkness. The apartment settles back into stillness, and somewhere between memory and dawn, I finally fall asleep. smoke and winter. Even though I quit last spring, there are still traces of old evenings hiding in everything. Your coat is gone from the hallway, but the shape of it remains. Like the body remembers warmth long after the fire changes. I poured 2 glasses out of habit, then laughed at myself again. Funny how loneliness survives in the smallest human things. No one warns you that heartbreak becomes domestic. It folds laundry beside you, sleeps quietly in your bed. There are ashes in the ashtray tonight, like little pieces of a life we burn through. Not violently, not suddenly, just slowly enough to hurt. And every room still carries a version of your breathing, like the walls themselves haven't accepted that you left. The woman upstairs keeps practicing cello late into the evening dark, and the low sad notes drifting downward sound exactly like memory. I tried dating someone last September. She wore expensive perfume, but all I could think about was how differently you used to say my name. Maybe love doesn't disappear, maybe it settles into objects, into chairs, into shadows, into the silence after midnight. And maybe moving forward means learning to stop touching the wound, just to prove it's still there. There are ashes in the ashtray tonight, and moonlight on the kitchen floor. I stand barefoot in the quiet, listening to the refrigerator hum. And for the first time in a long while, I don't ask for you to come back. I just miss the sound of being known completely. A siren fades somewhere downtown, the building settles into sleep, and the last cigarette burns itself out without anyone watching. I still remember the sound, not the word. suitcase wheels crossing the wooden floor. The morning was unbearably ordinary, coffee brewing, traffic outside, someone laughing somewhere down the street, while my whole life quietly changed shape. You stood near the doorway in your gray coat, looking smaller than I'd ever seen you. Like love had already started leaving before your body did. People think heartbreak arrives loudly, but sometimes it enters softly, like cold air through a half-open window, slow enough that you barely notice at first. And the sound of you leaving that morning still lives somewhere inside me, a soft rolling echo I hear on lonely nights. Not anger, not regret, just the unbearable tenderness of realizing something beautiful has ended. For months I couldn't move the chair you touched before walking out, as if disturbing the room too much would erase the last proof you were real. Friends kept telling me to go out more, to meet people, to start again. But grief isn't a door you walk through once, it's a house you learn to live inside. Sometimes I replay that morning differently. In one version I ask you to stay, in another I hold you longer, in another we tell the truth sooner. But memory is cruel that way. It gives you endless alternate endings for a story that only happened once. The sound of you leaving still follows me through quiet kitchens and sleepless rooms, through songs on late night radio, through winters that arrive too fast. And maybe one day it won't hurt anymore, maybe it'll just become part of me, like a scar you stop touching but never fully forget. Tonight the apartment is silent again, only the refrigerator humming softly. And somewhere beneath that ordinary sound, your goodbye still exists. I don't feel you like a memory. You're softer than the past. more like something still unfolding, more like something built to last. Not a hurt that keeps on burning, not a dream I have to chase, just a low and tender meaning, still alive in every trace. When the blue comes closer, when the whole world quiets down, I can feel your love return without making any sound. Love still moves in slow light, soft across my heart tonight, like the last glow holding on after almost all is gone. Love still moves in slow light, warm beneath the deepest blue. Even when I close my eyes, it still turns me back to you. I have learned that some emotions only deepen when they slow. They don't leave in broken pieces, they just change the way they glow. There's a grace inside the silence, there's a sweetness in the ache, like your kindness found a home in me that time could never take. No, I don't need forever, no, I don't need one more sign. I just know that when it's quiet, your softness leans into mine. Love still moves in slow light, soft across my heart tonight, like the last glow holding on after almost all is gone. Love still moves in slow light, warm beneath the deepest blue. Even when I close my eyes, it still turns me back to you. Maybe this is how it stays now, not in fire, not in rain, but as something calm and golden, living softly through the pain. Maybe love becomes more beautiful after all the noise is through, not because it asks for nothing, but because it still feels true. Love still moves in slow light, like a song too deep to lose, like a hush that keeps on falling through the dark, through the blue. Love still moves in slow light, and my heart still feels it too. Even when the night lets go, it leaves me close to you. I don't feel you like a memory, you're and it still moves me to you. I walk past our old neighborhood tonight. The bakery still closes too early, and the laundromat windows still glow blue against the tired evening rain. There was a couple arguing softly outside the corner grocery store, and somehow it reminded me how love can survive even inside exhaustion. You always wanted a small apartment there with plants hanging near the kitchen sink and records stacked beside the sofa, like ordinary life was enough. Back then I thought forever would arrive naturally, the way seasons do, without effort, without fear. But no one teaches you how quickly tenderness can disappear when two people become too tired to say what they really mean. In the street where we almost stayed still aches inside my chest tonight, like a future that briefly existed before life turned away from it. I stood beneath the traffic lights, watching strangers hurry home, thinking how close we once came to growing old together. Your favorite bookstore became a cafe, the movie theaters closing next spring. Even the city started forgetting the places where we loved each other. Meanwhile, I still remember everything, the exact sound of your keys at the door, the way you'd fall asleep on my shoulder halfway through late night television. It's strange how memory preserves small things long after the important ones collapse. If I could speak to the version of us walking hand in hand down that street, I wouldn't warn us about heartbreak. I'd only say, look carefully, this is your life. This ordinary, beautiful moment will one day become sacred. And the street where we almost stayed still glows somewhere behind my eyes. Wet pavement, storefront lights, your reflection moving beside me. But tonight the memory feels different, less like grief, more like gratitude for having loved someone deeply enough to miss them this long. The rain finally stopped near midnight, cars hissed softly through the dark, and I kept walking slowly home with your name quiet inside me. There's a softness in the air, like your love is still around. Not enough to break my heart, just enough to calm it down. In the hush between my thoughts, in the slow and silver blue, something stays so close to me, and it still feels close to you. I don't need the night to speak, I can hear it in the glow. Some loves never really leave, they just learn to move in slow. Close to me in the quiet, like a dream that never ends, like a touch I still remember, falling through me once again. Close to me in the quiet, soft enough to feel like home. Even when the dark gets deeper, I don't feel alone. I don't reach for what is gone, I don't ask for it to stay, but the beauty of your love still finds me in its way. Like a whisper without words, like a song without a name, it comes over me so gently, and nothing feels the same. I don't need the night to speak, I can hear it in the glow. Some loves never really leave, they just learn to move in slow. Close to me in the quiet, like a dream that never ends, like a touch I still remember, falling through me once again. Close to me in the quiet, soft enough to feel like home. Even when the dark gets deeper, I don't feel alone. Maybe this is what remains when the ache has turned to grace. Not the fear of losing someone, but the warmth they leave in place. Maybe love can still be near without asking to be shown, just a tender kind of presence that the heart has always known. Close to me in the quiet, like a light that lingers on, like the sweetest kind of memory after almost everything is gone. Close to me in the quiet, soft enough to pull me through. Even when the morning finds me, I still wake with you. There's a softness in the air that I never knew before, and in every quiet part of me, I feel you even more. The grocery store was almost empty. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. A tired cashier counted coins slowly, like the whole night had given up speaking. I wandered through familiar aisles, holding things I didn't need. A carton of milk, a bottle of wine, flowers already beginning to fade. There was a song playing quietly somewhere, an old love song from years ago. And suddenly your voice returned to me, clearer than the moment you left. You used to dance beside the refrigerator light, late at night in oversized sweaters, turning ordinary loneliness into something warm enough to survive inside. No one tells you memory arrives like this, not dramatically, not all at once, just in tiny unexpected places. When your guard is finally down, and the grocery store before closing tonight felt strangely sacred somehow, like grief and tenderness were standing together under flickering white lights. I watched strangers push their carts in silence, carrying invisible things home, and realized everyone is lonely in ways they never explain aloud. A little girl fell asleep in her mother's arms near the frozen food section, and something about the softness of that moment almost broke me completely. Outside, rain blurred the parking lot into watercolor reflections of blue and gold, and for one impossible second I thought I saw you waiting by my car. But it was only another tired stranger pulling their coat against the cold. Funny how the heart keeps searching even after it knows better. If I could speak to you now, I wouldn't ask why we failed. Some loves collapse quietly under the weight of ordinary life. I'd only ask, did you feel it too? That brief, beautiful period when the world felt softer because we existed together. The grocery store before closing emptied slowly, one lonely person at a time, while the old love song kept playing, like memory refusing to clock out. And somewhere between the flowers and fluorescent lights, I finally understood something gentle. Healing isn't forgetting someone, it's learning to remember them without losing yourself completely. Near midnight the cashier locked the doors, the lights dimmed one row at a time, and I walked back into the quiet rain, carrying less sadness than before. Someone is singing downstairs tonight, soft enough to almost disappear. The walls are thin in this old building, and somehow it sounds like you. I stood barefoot in the kitchen, watching headlights cross the floor. There's a crack beside the doorway now that wasn't there before. The flowers on the windowsill have faded, the way small things quietly do. But every corner of this apartment still keeps returning me to you. It's strange what survives a heartbreak. Not the fights, not the tears, just the ordinary moments that suddenly become sacred. And there's a song beneath the dawn at night, floating through the dark, like someone trying to reach me without saying my name. I close my eyes and for a second the loneliness almost leaves, like love is still somewhere nearby, breathing softly in another room. The bookstore closed last autumn, the one where you bought me Neruda poems. I walked past it yesterday evening and almost went inside from habit. There's comfort in unfinished stories, in not knowing where they end, because endings make things smaller, and what we had once felt endless. If I could speak to you again, I don't think I'd ask you to return. I'd only want one honest conversation, without fear, without blame, without pretending we didn't matter. There's still a song beneath the dawn at night, soft enough to break my heart, and somewhere between the melody and silence I remember who we were. Not perfect, not forever, just two tired people loving each other the best way they knew how. The singing downstairs slowly fades, the building settles into sleep, and I stay awake beside the window, listening to what remains. The city always looks softer around 4 in the morning, like even loneliness gets tired and finally lowers its voice. I was sitting at the kitchen counter, and yesterday yesterday's sweater and fading light, watching steam rise from untouched coffee, like ghosts disappearing into the dark. Outside, a newspaper truck rolled slowly past, breaking the silence for a second, and everything became still again. The kind of stillness that makes memory louder. There are moments just before morning when the heart becomes too honest, too exhausted to keep pretending. It no longer aches for what it lost. And the blue hour before morning tonight felt like standing inside a memory, halfway between healing and heartbreak, halfway between letting go and staying. I looked around the empty apartment and suddenly understood. Some people leave your life quietly, but never leave your inner world. Your toothbrush has been gone for months now, but I still move to the left side of the sink, as if love leaves invisible instructions inside the body long after goodbye. The woman next door started singing softly while watering plants on her fire escape, and for a moment the whole world felt fragile in a strangely beautiful way. If I could speak to you one last time, I wouldn't ask for another chance. I just thank you for teaching me that tenderness existed. Because before you, I thought love had to be dramatic to be real. I didn't know it could sound like two people breathing quietly in the same room. And the blue hour before morning kept fading slowly into pale gold light. The way grief eventually changes without asking permission. Not disappearing, not ending, just becoming softer around the edges, until you can finally carry it gently. The sun began touching the rooftops. Cars move through the waking streets, and somewhere between night and morning, I forgave both of us a little more.